Dear white liberals, please, for the love of all that is good and holy, please, I bego, stop taking offense on everybody else's behalf. I recently saw a video of a young man who was wearing, is it a kimono? I think, no, kimono is definitely, I believe, what? It's a geisha attire? Okay, he was wearing a traditional Chinese outfit and a traditional Chinese rice farmer hat, right? Same one you see on Mortal Kombat. And he's walking around the city in this outfit, and there's a lot of young people, so I'm guessing it's kind of a college town or something of that nature. And, he's trying to get people's opinions. What do you think about my outfit, right? One of those little type videos. And almost every single one of those college students, by the way, none of them Chinese, were offended, shaking their head. How could you? One guy was damn near about to punch the dude in the face. He was just so angry. Young black dude. He just got so angry. I can't believe you. I'm like, okay. And then the video switches over to different groups of old Chinese women, and every single one of them were praising his outfit. They're like, oh, it looks so good, looks so good. Oh, it look good on you, very nice color. They're like, oh, and he asked even some of them, is this offensive? No, everybody can wear. Everybody can wear. Now, this isn't a rare situation. This is not a rare situation. There has been now backlash when it comes to the changing of the Kansas City Chiefs, I believe. Is it the Chiefs? No, it's the Redskins. It's the Washington Redskins. It's a football team in America. Not football with your foot, but football with the hands, right? It's confusing, but that's what it is. America, we do our own thing. So there's a team called the Washington Redskins, and the name of the team was changed because it was quote unquote offensive to Native Americans. Now, the irony is when they were first petitioning for the change, there were very few Native Americans who actually found this offensive to begin with. And so they ended up passing it anyway because, white liberals. And all of a sudden, fast forward to 2024, and you have a petition from the family of the man who was the original logo, right? A Native American man himself, a Redskin, who wanted his face back. He wanted the Redskins back. His family had never made a decision to remove his likeness from that logo. Now, obviously, he's no longer alive, but his family stepped in and said, we never said this was okay. We want the Redskins. This was like a pride and joy for our family. This meant something for us. This is legacy. And so obviously, these leftists, they're losing their minds. They don't know what to do now because they got offended in position of those individuals. They took offense for somebody else who wasn't even offended. Now they have to recoil the entire thing. Now, these are kind of surface level ideas or surface level examples, but what I'm getting to is a far deeper and it's more sadistic than you think. I know it's not always malicious intention. As the old quote says, I like to assume ignorance rather than evil or ignorance rather than malice, but the result is still the same. When you are taking offense for somebody, you are babying them and you are coddling them, you are treating them as an infant, you are stifling that individual's emotional, mental, and even physical growth in some ways. Right? When you tell somebody that poor you can't do for yourself, look how terrible everything is for you and your people. Let me do these things for you. It's like you stepping into a gym with me every time. Oh my God, you're so weak. You're so, you're so skinny and you just can't lift anything. And it's just so unfair. Let me lift those weights for you. And now you start to do my workouts. You're going to get buff and I still end up staying the exact same, weak. Full of soy. And we think that is doing somebody a service. I recently did a video on why safe spaces hurt the people they claim to serve. They really do. They keep you in a state of perpetual adolescence. They keep you in a space where you can never develop your emotional state to where you can handle life. Life is inherently going to be offensive. There are a multitude, 8 billion people, and most of them don't agree with you. Most of them don't hold the same opinions, and they should be able to say what they want to say. They should be able to think and feel how they want to feel. Now, those things are going to have their consequences. Like what you think, feel, do, and act is going to have its own consequences. But I would never, for the love of God, shut you down from saying what you want to say. There was recently a little picture I saw of, Halloween costume. Because as I'm filming this right now, Halloween's going to be tomorrow. So you're obviously going to be watching this in the future. So there's this, little picture that popped up on Threads or something like that. I was up there posting a little video, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, this is interesting. It's a young white lady dressed up as a bottle of baby oil and a young white man who was in P. Diddy blackface, right? Now, in times past, post 2017, 2016, I would have been very offended. I would have seen this and just felt some type of way. I probably would have even, retaliated by creating my own posts or whatever. Maybe made a video back then because I was so riled up. But when I looked at it now, and I don't know if it's a consequence of just, maturity and age, but I looked at it and I was like, okay, and? Like so? One of my favorite movies back in the day was White Chicks. Straight up. I thought that movie was hilarious. I still do to this day. Immature as I can be when it comes to them type of thing. I think that movie is hilarious. And, we didn't really have a problem with that. Would it be made today? I hope so. Because again, I'm not this guy who's into policing the language of people. Oh my God, I was so offended when I saw, can you believe? I really do not care. Now, we may want to bring up the context of history and this and that, but when it's all said and done, look, folks, inflation is too damn high for people to give a damn about most of these things anyway, right? If we really want to get all the way down to it, current socioeconomic state of the nation. But beyond that, it's to say that if you're moving through life and everything is just offensive to you and you can't handle it, so you have to shut other people down instead of developing your own inner character, your own level of resolve, you're nothing more than an adult child. That is a perpetuated state of adolescence. You have Peter Pan syndrome in essence. You never grew up. A child is the one who gets riled up off of simply emotions and will throw a tantrum and doesn't know what else to do about it and will, stonewall, etc. And a lot of adults are moving through life that way. A lot of adults are moving through life immature, and in many cases, it will have dire circumstances. There are prisons filled with men who could not control their emotional urges. There are prisons filled with women. There are, grave sites filled with individuals because they could not regulate their own emotions. They were coddled. They were babied by society. No consequence was made for them that way, and so the consequence was made for them in a different form. And that one they can't come back from. That one they can't recover from. So when you're taking offense on our behalf and you're so offended and standing up for this and standing up for that, and you're not actually just allowing, first and foremost, let the people speak for themselves individually, by the way, because you also are viewing us as this kind of siloed monolith of a group. We're all just one group that moves together. Absolutely not. It's like saying, the white community. There's no such thing. There is no such quote unquote black community. There's those of us who want what is best for human beings, for ourselves and others, and those of us who don't. Those of us who are creators and those of us who are destroyers. It's as simple as that. There are those who are moving towards the light and those moving towards darkness. And those could be of any color, creed, nationality, tribe, whatever it may be. All types of classifications. So when we try to box people in that way, that's actually a sign of one's own ignorance. The one who is actually the most fixated on race is the most racist. Wouldn't that make sense? That everything has to do with race, that you're viewing somebody as beneath you? I'm actually going to get into the subject. It might be the next video I film right after this one is into this entire thing about, quote unquote, affirmative action, right? We're gonna make sure that you get this and this, and nobody ever ruffles your feathers because God forbid that happen because it's been so hard for you. No, allow calluses to build. Allow people to become strong within themselves so they can do for themselves and know that they can. Push that message. That's the message that we need to be pushing. If you care, dear white liberal, if you truly care about the people that you espouse to care about, and it's not just a ploy to get people to see and perceive you as some holier than thou saint, the savior complex of yours, if it's deeper than that, then show it through empowering individuals. Empower them through information. Teach a man to fish. Teach a woman to fish. Show an individual how to get from here to here. Don't infantilize them, and then, you're going to solve their problems, because you're never solving anything to begin with. If you give somebody money because they're asking for money, you didn't solve their money problem. Their money problem is a psychological, emotional problem. It's their relationship they have with money. You can give them a lottery win. They don't even have to play the lottery. You just give them a lottery win, and they will use that money to destroy themselves if they're not ready, if they don't have the psychology that will sustain that money. And this is just an analogy, obviously, but you can, you can take this and apply it to every single area of life. You can't fight to have. It's like, I've seen this and it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Trying to force certain individuals into accepting like relationship dynamics with people who aren't relationship material, who haven't even developed and cultivated those characteristics. So it's like, you should be able to accept a woman no matter what. You should be able to accept a man no matter what. Absolutely not. To just get into relationship as a form of affirmative action, absolutely, we're not doing affirmative action relationships. Absolutely not. You got to qualify for that. If somebody is in a healed state and you are not, and you're not willing to do the work, you don't deserve to be with the person who's gone through that work. Are you kidding me? Absolutely not. No, I deserve the job just because, I showed up. Okay, and? Are you going to be an asset or a liability? Well, it doesn't matter because, it's been unfair for me, and I'm just absolutely not. You're not doing anybody any service. And if you're the one who wants this done for you, I promise you in the long term, you're going to see it's not doing you any service. You're just going to find yourself more frustrated. You're going to find yourself in a place where, you're questioning why you're not moving in the way that you want to move, or why you don't feel the way that you believe you should feel. You're getting the handout, but it ain't hitting the way you think it should. It's like there's a conversation of reparations, right? And it's like, okay, you get that first check, it's not going to satisfy. It don't matter how much money they give you. Most people are going to destroy themselves if they really ever got that money. But, they get that money, and then it's like, okay, next check. It's never going to be enough. It will never satisfy, because you're trying to solve an internal problem with external solutions. And so long as there is a group of individuals who is hell-bent on, like Malcolm X said, the black man, a black woman's greatest enemy is the white liberal. And he didn't mean that in a metaphoric way. He meant that quite literally. The one who claims to be your savior is the one who is claiming to be greater and better than you. I'm going to rescue you. That's Lyndon Baines Johnson right there. LBJ, superhero of the left. A man who said we're going to have these niggas voting Democrat for the next 60 or 50 years. 60 years, I believe it was. And we're almost 60 years later, funny enough. Imagine that. Imagine that. A man who created all these quote unquote social reforms for the sake of black people. Don't worry. You don't need that man in the house. Don't worry. You don't need to be coupled up. We got some handouts for you. We got some things for you. Just come over here to Big Daddy LJ. He'll take care of you. Absolutely not, y'all. Absolutely not.
I used to be afraid of the dark, place unknown like a heart in their heart. I used to see my life in the bar. Now the kids unchained, every shackle is lost. 2 steps in the moonlight, 2 step in the daytime. You just know when it feel right. You got a feeling the time's not. See you through those shades that I just threw on. Through my lenses, you just can't do no wrong. I fell in love with myself again. I fell in love with myself. I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see